going on, everybody? So I'd like to talk about the Sprite ad that just came out. It's like a pride parade, gay pride parade puff piece. There's not a single person drinking a Sprite in the whole episode, the whole commercial. It's just a bunch of gayness. Now, as the son of a lesbian couple and a sister who's had mostly gay relationships in her life, like that kind of thing doesn't bother me. I've got one of my dad's best friends when I was very young decided that he was a woman, and she's my aunt now. Not by blood, but that's what I call her. Like, I've been friends with gay people and transgender my whole life. So understand that my opinions are not based in some kind of rooted religious belief or something like that. That I hate gay people. I just need to preface all that because I have opinions. Okay. The only issue that I have with pride parades, maybe a couple issues. One is that it's not needed anymore. It's not really needed anymore. I'm not saying that you can't have them. I'm not saying that the people that do them are bad or anything. I'm not saying any of that. But they're not needed, and they're really just, in my opinion, a bunch of gay dudes swinging their balls in people's faces, and an excuse to dress up little kids and sexualize them. Like I don't see the function of a pride parade anymore. Gay people in many states of this country are allowed to get married and have the benefits of that union, and that's great. Like, I'm totally for that. Love who you want to love. You be you. But I also believe in the right to have an opinion. Everyone has the right to an opinion. And I also don't agree with like, if someone's a sea sucker, I'll call you a sea sucker. This is what it is, because that's what you do. It is what it is. When pride people bash heterosexuals, like the heterosexuals are aberrations. No, it's the other way around. Now, understand, I come from the school of thought that I think the first tribes of humanity probably had some gay people in it. Like, I think it is a, how do I put this? It is just like any other form of genetic miscommunication during the creation of the embryo or the fetus. All right, there's any number of things. It's a very complex biological process. The conception and growth of a human being. A lot of things can go wrong during that development. And by wrong, I mean a person can be born with one arm. A person can be born with the instincts of another gender. A person can be born attracted to the same gender naturally through this process, but that does not mean that these things are not aberrations. They are. Okay? The definition of life is to consume, reproduce, and die. All right? If the world was full of gay people from the get, Homo sapiens, then there would be no more Homo sapiens. This is what it is. I'm not assigning a moral attachment to it. Just stating what it obviously is. So going back to the commercial, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't really drink Sprite anyway, so I'm not gonna boycott Sprite or anything. But one thing that I would like to make note of is I'm a '90s liberal. I don't think considering the current trend in progressive politics that I'd be considered a liberal anymore. Kind of like the George Carlin liberal, who has, if George Carlin was alive today, I'm pretty sure that they would call him alt-right. It's crazy. I remember back when I was growing up that the religious conservatives were the bad guys. Very definitively, the bad guys. They were the judgmental ones. They were the hyperbolic ones. They were the ones that were getting on TV and supporting, the ostracization of gays and anyone who wasn't Christian. The same old rhetoric that's been going on for thousands of years from different parts of Christendom. And they were the bad guys. They were the ones who wanted to censor your music. They were the ones who wanted to censor art. They were the ones, who wanted to censor video games like that. It was a very defined line on who the bad guys were back then. And in the last 25 years, there has been, I believe, from the outside looking in, a very distinct philosophical growth that has taken place within many of the religious elements of the conservative party, the conservative movement, because we've gotten to a point where just gay marriage is pretty much accepted. You cannot agree with it. But those people aren't getting out on a pulpit and damning you. I'm sure it still happens in some places in the Bible Belt and in the country, but you just don't see it. I'm friends with religious conservatives. I'm friends with conservatives, period, that just happen to be religious, that aren't necessarily religious conservatives. And they don't preach like that anymore. They have more of a live and let live. They've really taken, I believe, what the best interpretation of the message of Jesus Christ is, which is to love thy neighbor, be tolerant, be accepting. Tolerance to me is bullshit. I don't think we should be tolerant. We should be accepting. But there's been growth in those communities. I applaud many Christians for that. I still think there needs to be some work done on how you interpret past historical events and some realizations that need to be made. But that might be a little bit of nitpicking, and the only reason that I nitpick those is so that we make sure we learn from the past. One of the biggest killers in all of history has been religion. But that's not what I see. What I do see are the people associated with the party that I used to support fully, being the identitarians, being the extremists, being the shamers, and it's insane to me, as someone who voted Democrat most of his life, to see this flip, this change. The Democrats used to be against dark money. I forgot how they used to phrase it. Money being poured into political campaigns from unverified sources, and now they're being caught doing it all the time. Everything is flipped. The world is going upside down. I don't even understand what's going on. But it is what it is. And one of the identity politics that they pander to, that they push, is the LGBT community. Which, really, it's time to break that word apart. They keep adding shit to it. It's time to break that stuff apart, because let's be real. All right, I don't think that all of those letters, the people that identify as those letters, necessarily believe that some of the other letters should have anything to do with their acronym or whatever the hell it is. It's time. We've gotten to a point where most of these different lifestyles are accepted, and rightfully so. Everyone has the right to live how they want to live. Everyone has the right to identify how they want to identify, sleep with who you want to sleep with. I don't give a damn. I am not a god. I am not a moral authority on these things. Live how you want to live. Just don't tell me, one, that I am an aberration because I am straight, because I will laugh in your face all day long. Don't preach to me. Don't become what you have, what people who identify as you have fought against for so long. It's time. It's enough with the pendulum. Enough with the pendulum. It's time to stop that. The Sprite commercial, not a single drink, not a single Sprite drank in this commercial, just a bunch of weirdos doing weird things, which is their right. Do you? But I don't think in and of itself it's a bad thing. The commercial, it's whatever. It's aimed at a certain segment of the population, and then I'm sure that there are people in that segment of the population that enjoy that representation. But all I'm saying is, it's time. It's time to just say, it's okay to be you. Are you really that insecure with who you are that you need these puff pieces? You need this kind of pandering. I mean, if you're normal, then why do you need it? And I just also wanted to mention that it's amazing to me. Again, I try not to talk about politics too much, although I like talking about politics. I try not to do it that much, but it's just interesting to me how the parties have completely flipped. They've completely flipped. I used to not get along at all. I mean, I know that I have changed and I've evolved over the years from a very fervent pagan young man, in the heat of my passion, my religion, and my faith, and my identity, who, is learning about how history can be re-envisioned, how certain stories can be spun through the books of history, how the genocidal sects, the winners of the wars who write the history books, write about themselves. But once I got to a certain age, I understood that was just the way of things. And you got to stand up for truth and stand up for what you believe in, and point out the inconsistencies and dogmas in certain historical accounts. And it just is what it is. But so I know that I've changed, so I've become more accepting myself of others. But I've also noticed that Christian conservatives, who usually identify as Republican, have changed a lot too. They've grown. They're not what I would consider the bad guys anymore. Really, they're not. I mean, do I run into one or two hardline cases that may not understand a lick of what they're talking about when it comes to other belief systems and historical accounts? Yes, absolutely. I do run into those people, but it's very few and far between. Most of the Christians that I speak to now, Christian conservatives, are good people. They're good people that I trust and I love. It's amazing to me that just all the changes that have taken place over the last 25 years, and how it's not the people that were the bad guys in the 80s and the 90s that are the bad guys anymore. Now it's the other side. Strange how that happens. You do you. If you're gay, if you're one of those letters, and you're not trying to bother nobody, and you're just trying to be you, be you, dude. And if you feel like you need to go to a pride parade or whatever, all I ask is don't bring kids, don't sexualize kids, don't throw your balls in people's face. Don't do any of that whack shit. But absolutely be you. I'll always support that to my brothers and sisters in the gay community, in the trans community. So, my love to everybody. Sorry if this is a little bit more political than usual. Just something I felt like I wanted to talk about. Like, comment, subscribe. Please, go ahead. Go in the comments and tell me where I'm wrong and where I'm right, and how you think and how you believe. And please, go right ahead. Go right ahead, because I like hearing different points of views. And sometimes I do espouse a dogma or two, and I like to be caught I like to be told. I like to be educated and enlightened. You know, sometimes different opinions can bring enlightenment. So love y'all. Be good and have a good day. Try and be good to each other.